Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to inform everybody that last night I sent again $1,600 to the Chulin Beitar on behalf of everyone. And all those that are participating should know that we're being mechazik Torah in Eretz Yisrael. I'm also delighted to say that yesterday I tallied up the money that came in from Hatzalah. The money that I sent out this morning to Hatzalah was $2,138, and I assume it's a small number for us. Our appeals usually go over 3,000, but I assume it's because people already gave from when they made the breakfast, and people already gave on their own, so that's why it was a little bit less. But again, I believe really, really in my heart that these are the things that protect us and make us stronger and make us, things that go on over here are a little bit shaloi k'derech hateva. We always seem to have room for everybody. No, it's really, really amazing, Yeah, and we always seem to have a minyan. On the subject of minyan, I just want to point out that next week it's going to be an hour earlier. So please support the minyan. It's going to be in the middle of the day. So people that are working are not really going to be able to come so easily. So we could also use a few good extra men. So if you know anybody and you tell them, the Agudah could use a little help for this. And the first Mariv, the second Mariv, Baruch Hashem, seems to be hopping. So the first Mariv does need help. Okay. So from Tzedakah V'Chesed to Torah, we are sponsored by the Fisher family, Lila Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbi, Shalom Ben Avraham Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We sponsor Lila Nishmas David Ben Chaim, Refuah Shalem for Yomis Ben Chayesor, Yaakov Ben Bas Yaleh, for the schus of Avraham Minyam Ben Nishma Malki Yehudis, by Yod Klugman and family, Refuah Shalem for Esther Fadel Bas Chana, Avigdoraya Ben Rivka, Hinda Bas Chayesor, Chana Bas Shashabina, Rivka Bas Shivaleh, Moshe Meir Ben Esther Fadel, Yitzhak Ben Siyam Ben Dusha, and Meir Ben Chayesora. They should have a refuah shalema b'seich shaycha liyisrael. Ein sheichten loy l'seich yamim. Mishna tes. We don't shecht into water, so that it shouldn't look like we're shechting to the sar shel yam, to the guardian of the sea. V'loy l'seich narois, not into rivers. V'loy l'seich kalim. Nor do we shecht into a vessel, so that it shouldn't look like we're catching the blood to sprinkle it to idolatry. But you could shecht into a hole, like a ditch of water, because there the blood just gets swept away and carried away. Ubesvina, now again, by a boat you don't want to shecht right over the boat, because it looks like you're shechting to the sar shel yam. However, ubesvina al gabe kalim, you could shecht it. You don't want to get the boat dirty. You could shecht it on the back of utensils, and it could flow from there into the water, and that's okay. Ein sheichtin leguma kol iker. You can't shecht into a hole, and this is because this was the way of Goyim. This is the way of Goyim is they would shecht the blood into a hole, and then they would eat next to the blood. And it says, you're not supposed to follow in Goyish ways. But you could make a hole at a distance in order that the blood should flow into it and not get the house dirty. However, v'shuk lo yasakain, in the shuk you shouldn't do it, even in such an indirect manner, shelo yichak es aminim, in order that shouldn't show strengthening to the minim, to the way that they do to shecht into a hole. The etymology of the word yichake is interesting. So I told you the pshat of Rashi and the Rav. that it's from a lashon of chayk and chayzik, to strengthen. There is another definition of yechaka, which the Tiferes Yisrael brings down, which means it shouldn't look like we're imitating the ways of the minim. Now, Mishnah Yud, we know, as we've learned extensively in Huriyas and Masechtas Zvachim, there's an Isser Karis of Shkutei Chutz. That's the shech, the carbon, outside the Beis HaMikdash is an Isser Karis, or to sprinkle its blood. Here we're talking about that Yaakov takes an animal of Chulin and he shechts it l'shem Oila. Now, to shecht an animal that's Chulin l'shem Oila, that's not Shchutei Chutz. It's only Shchutei Chutz if you shecht the carbon outside. So the only thing is that this is a gezeira of the Chachamim, that they say that it's not allowed to be eaten, lest somebody think that Shchutei Chutz is permitted. Now, that is the interpretation of Roiv of the Rishonim. Other Rishonim learn that we're afraid that when he shechted it as an Ayla, he was makdish it there for an Ayla, and then it would actually be Aser as Shchutei Chutz. But that's not the classical interpretation of the Mishnah. HaSheichet l'shem Ayla, if you shecht it for an Ayla l'shem Zvachim, or for another type of carbon like a Shlamim. Now the key over here is that it's only going to be a problem if it's something that Yaakov could be makdish. He could make it into a carbon. It has to be a davar that's brought b'neder u'menedava. So an ayla could be brought as a neder and a dava. A shlamim could be brought, and according to some opinions, l'shem ashim tali. Ashim tali is a case where, let's say Ruvain had two pieces of meat in front of him. One was kosher, and one was chaylev and forbidden. He ate one of them. He didn't know which one he ate. If he ate the chaylev, he would bring a chatas. Since he doesn't know, he brings an ashim tali. Rebbe Eliezer says that a person could bring, if he's afraid that he sinned, an ashim tali every day. And therefore, this is going according to Rebbe Eliezer, who says that a person could bring as a nedava an ashim tali. L'shem Pesach, the person could always be makdish an animal as a Pesach, or l'shem Taida, or as a Thanksgiving offering. In this case, if he shechts it, although it wasn't a carbon, but because it looks like Shchutei Chutz, Shchitasa Psula. However, Reb Shimon says no. They didn't make this Isser al Smaris Ayin, and since it wasn't a carbon, it's not possible. Now, according to the Tanna Kama, Shnayim oichsim b'sachten v'sheichten, I and Yaakov are holding a sakin and shechting it. Echad l'shem echad mikol elu. Yaakov has in mind that it should be an oila. The echad l'shem davar kosher, and I want to have a good barbecue. Shchitas and psula. The shchita is possible. HaSheichet. Now, here we come to the things that Yaakov cannot bring beneder. HaSheichet l'shem chatas. If he shechts it for a sin offering, you can't just say, I want to bring a sin offering. If he wasn't Mechal Shabbos b'shoigeg, he can't bring a sin offering. Or l'shem ashim vaday. If he didn't do me'ilah, or shivka charufa, or any of the other 5 types of ashim, you can't bring an ashim. Shem b'char, you can't make an animal that's not a b'char. L'shem ma'aser, you can't make an animal that's not ma'aser behema ma'aser. L'shem t'mura, if there's no carbon in the house, you can't just say that something is a t'mura. So shchitasik sheira, because there it's clear that the animal wasn't a carbon, and therefore it's clear that it has no similarity to shchutei chutz. Zaklal, this is the general principle. Kol davar shenidav v'nidav, anything that could be brought either with the harei alai variety or harei zeh variety, which it could be brought on its own, like an oila, like a shlamim, like a taida. HaSheichet l'shmai, if he has it in mind, to shecht l'shmai aser, either because it looks like shchutei chutz, or as the Tur explains, he could have been makdish it right there, and it would be shchutei chutz. It's aser. V'sheina nidav v'nidav, something that cannot be brought with a neder and a dava, like a chatas, like an ashim, like a bechar. HaSheichet hashaykel l'shmai, if he shechs it for it, since it's clearly not a carbon, that is kosher. Again, tonight we'll have the second marv at 7:45. We'll have daf at 8, and then followed by a chumash here. Chanani ben Akash Amar Ratzik Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakos Es Yisrael Lefi Kachib L'Hem Torah Mitzvahs Shene'em Adonai Chafetz L'Man Tzidka Yagdol Torah V'Yadeh.